Can she escape her past? Will she choose revenge or redemption? We are about to find out. Rhea thought she had left her past behind. 5 years of freedom, rebuilding her life after escaping an abusive relationship with Tyler, her ex-husband. But what happens when he unexpectedly reappears, claiming he's changed and offering to donate to her non-profit organization? Is he truly seeking redemption, or does he have a darker agenda in mind? How far will Tyler go to get what he wants? Will Rhea be able to protect the women she's sworn to help, or will her past come back to haunt her? What would you do if your abusive past showed up at your doorstep, claiming to have changed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let's begin. Rhea sat in her office, the usual hum of activity around her fading into the background as her mind focused on the numbers in front of her. She had always been meticulous, ensuring that every penny her organization received went directly into helping women escape the grip of domestic violence. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. She glanced at the clock. Her meeting with a potential donor was fast approaching, but before she could collect her thoughts, Carla, her trusted assistant, knocked and stepped into the room, holding the office phone. Her face was tense. Something was wrong. "Rhea, someone named Tyler is on the line. He says he knows you," Carla said, hesitation in her voice. Rhea's heart dropped. Tyler. The name was like a cruel reminder of her past. Tyler had been her abusive ex-husband, the man who had spent years controlling her, breaking her down until she didn't even recognize herself. She had left him 5 years ago, rebuilding her life piece by piece, and had made it her mission to help other women do the same. Her pulse quickened as Carla passed her the phone. Taking a deep breath, Rhea steeled herself for what was about to come. "Rhea," Tyler's voice crackled through the receiver. It was calm, too calm, as if nothing had happened. "It's been a long time." Rhea recoiled inwardly but kept her voice steady. "What do you want, Tyler?" There was a slight pause on the other end of the line before Tyler responded. "I've been thinking about you, about what happened. I've changed, Rhea. I'm not that man anymore. I've turned my life around. I want to help your organization." Her stomach twisted with disbelief. After everything he had done, after how he had torn her apart and isolated her from everyone who cared about her, he was now claiming to be a changed man and offering to help her organization? "I don't need your help, Tyler," she said, voice firm yet shaking with a mix of anger and fear. "Stay away from my organization." Tyler's voice softened, almost coaxing. "Rhea, I know you're skeptical, but I want to make amends. I want to donate, help you continue your important work. I've seen what you're doing. You're saving lives, and I want to be part of that." The audacity of him, to think that she would ever trust him again, made Rhea's blood boil. "Don't ever call me again," she said, her hand gripping the receiver with a force that made her knuckles turn white. "Stay out of my life, Tyler." The line went dead, and Rhea sat back in her chair, staring at the phone, her mind reeling. After all the therapy, the years of rebuilding her life, was she really going to allow him to come back in, even for a donation? She had worked so hard to overcome his grip, to help other women escape the same horrors she'd endured. But his offer was too much. Was this truly an attempt to make amends? Or was this his way of regaining control over her life once again? Rhea tried to shake off the unsettling feeling that lingered in the pit of her stomach. She wasn't going to let him back into her life, not after everything. But when her assistant, Carla, knocked the following day, Rhea wasn't prepared for what she heard. "Rhea," Carla said hesitantly, "Tyler's here to meet you. He says he has something for the organization." Rhea's heart skipped a beat, but she forced herself to breathe deeply. "I don't want to see him," she said, But Carla persisted, saying that Tyler had made it clear he was coming, that he wouldn't leave until he spoke with her. Reluctantly, Rhea agreed. She knew it wasn't wise, but she had to know what Tyler was truly after. Was he serious about wanting to help, or was this another one of his schemes? Tyler was already waiting in the conference room when Rhea arrived. He stood up as she walked in, his posture impeccable, his smile smooth and calculated. The man sitting before her now bore no resemblance to the man she had once known. He was polished, wealthy, and seemed to have the world at his feet. Gone were the disheveled clothes and angry outbursts. This was a man who had learned how to manipulate, how to play the game. "Rhea," he said, his deep voice warm as he extended his hand toward her. "It's good to see you again." Rhea hesitated, fighting the urge to recoil at his touch. "What do you want, Tyler?" "I'm here to offer you a donation," he said smoothly, sliding a thick envelope toward her. "I know what you've been through, and I want to help." Rhea could feel the tension rising in her chest. This was too much. She had worked so hard to rebuild herself, to separate herself from him and everything he represented. But here he was, again, trying to insert himself into her life. "I don't need your charity," Rhea replied, her voice steady but cold. "I don't trust you." Tyler's smile faltered for a split second before he regained his composure. "I understand your hesitation. I really do. But I want to make amends. I've turned my life around. I'm not that man I used to be." Rhea was tempted to believe him. His words were so polished, so perfect. But deep down, she knew this wasn't the Tyler she had known. This was a man with an agenda. "I can't accept your donation," Rhea said firmly. "You've already done enough damage." Tyler didn't push back, but his expression hardened. "I'll let you think about it, Rhea. But remember, people can change. I'm here if you change your mind." As he left, Rhea's heart pounded. She wasn't sure what his game was, but she couldn't afford to let him infiltrate her life again. No matter what he said, Tyler was still the man who had broken her once, and she wasn't going to let that happen again. The days following Tyler's visit were filled with a quiet tension that Rhea couldn't shake. Her thoughts constantly circled back to him, his offer, his demeanor. She tried to focus on the work ahead, but the unsettling feeling remained, gnawing at her. Late one night, unable to let go of her doubts, Rhea began to dig deeper into Tyler's life. She had to know what he was up to. The more she uncovered, the worse the situation became. Tyler wasn't just pretending to be a philanthropist. He was using his wealth and influence to manipulate the very organizations that Rhea had worked so hard to build. He had secretly started funding a rival charity, one that was directly competing with hers for funding and attention. And the worst part, he had been using his power to redirect potential donors away from Rhea's cause. As Rhea dug deeper into the records, she found links to shady real estate deals, questionable business partners, and a growing network of people who had begun to sing his praises. He wasn't a changed man. He was simply more cunning, more dangerous, and more determined to destroy everything she had built. Her blood boiled. Tyler wasn't here to help. He was here to take everything away from her, piece by piece. Rhea couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, all she could see was Tyler, his polished suit, his smirk, and the false sense of control he had over her. She needed to act, but what could she do? She had no proof that Tyler was behind everything, no hard evidence that he was sabotaging her life and the women she helped. It was all so calculated, so clean. Tyler had clearly learned how to play the game, and he was doing it well. But things took an unexpected turn. Just as Rhea was about to go over her financial reports, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mia, one of the women from the organization. "Rhea, something's happening. I'm getting strange calls. menacing ones. They're asking questions about you. They know everything. Please be careful. Rhea's stomach dropped. The pieces began to fall into place. Tyler wasn't just trying to get into her organization. He was using the women she helped as pawns in his revenge game. She had feared that something like this would happen, but now the threat was real. Mia had been caught in the crossfire. Rhea's fingers shook as she typed back, asking Mia for more details. She wasn't going to let Tyler use her past to control her future, but the threats had gone too far. He wasn't just targeting Rhea now. He was targeting the very women she was trying to protect. What could she do? Tyler's reach had extended far beyond what she had imagined. He was everywhere, infiltrating her work, destroying it from within, and now, using the women who relied on her for safety. Her phone rang again, and this time it was a blocked number. "Rhea," came a voice on the other end, smooth and familiar. "Tyler," Rhea spat, her anger rising. "What do you want?" "Calm down, Rhea," he said. His tone was unnervingly calm, almost too calm. "I'm just trying to help. I'm offering you a chance to make this all go away. You and I, we can put the past behind us. Just accept my donation, and everything will go back to normal." Rhea clenched her fists. "You don't get to tell me what's normal, Tyler. You never will again. I'm not going to fall for your games." Tyler chuckled, a dark sound that made her skin crawl. "I'm not playing games, Rhea. But the next time you don't take me seriously, it could be someone you care about who pays the price. You've seen how much power I have, how far I can reach." His words hit harder than any slap ever could. He wasn't just threatening her. He was threatening the people she loved, the people she had sworn to protect. "You're sick," she whispered, the tears welling up in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away. No, she wasn't going to cry. Not for him. "I won't let you win." But Tyler's next words were a chilling reminder of how deep he had infiltrated her life. "We'll see, Rhea. We'll see." The line went dead. Rhea stared at her phone, her thoughts swirling. Tyler had finally gone too far, but now she needed to act before things got even worse. Rhea couldn't wait any longer. She needed to confront Tyler directly, to face him and demand he stop his campaign of terror. She arranged a meeting at a secluded spot near her office, a place where she could control the environment and where Tyler's polished charm couldn't reach her. When she arrived, Tyler was already there, leaning against a lamppost with that same arrogant grin on his face. It was maddening how he could still look so confident, even after everything he had done. "I knew you'd come," Tyler said, his voice laced with amusement. "You always were predictable, Rhea." "Cut the crap, Tyler," Rhea snapped, her fists clenched at her sides. "I know what you're doing. I know about the threats, about the manipulation. You've gone too far this time." Tyler pushed off from the lamppost and stepped closer to her. "You don't understand, do you? I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help. All I want is a place in your life again. You don't need to make this harder than it is." "You're a liar, Tyler," Rhea retorted, her voice thick with emotion. "You've been trying to destroy everything I've built, everything I've worked for. You're still the same man who abused me, who controlled me. The difference is, now you have money and power, but I'm not going to let you use that to hurt me again." Tyler's face twisted with frustration. "You don't get it? You left me. You humiliated me. I've spent years rebuilding my life and now I'm offering to help yours. But you keep pushing me away. I've done everything to make up for my past, Rhea. What do you want from me?" Rhea's voice shook with rage. "I don't want anything from you, Tyler. Not anymore. I'm not that broken woman you used to control, and you will never be able to manipulate me again." Tyler's expression darkened, and for a moment, Rhea saw the man he had once been, the one who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. "You don't know what you're up against," Tyler said quietly, his voice menacing now. "You think you've won? You think you're safe? This is just the beginning, Rhea, and you're going to regret underestimating me." Rhea's mind spun as she sifted through the financial documents, trying to piece together the recent discrepancies she'd noticed. Her fingers trembled as she clicked open a file labeled Donation Reports. For a moment, she could hear nothing but the tapping of keys as the numbers danced on the screen. But then, a cold chill washed over her. The latest donation report showed significant changes. Money that was supposed to go directly into their programs, funds meant to help women escape their abusers, had been rerouted. It was as though the donations were disappearing into thin air. Rhea's heart sank. She had spent hours painstakingly balancing these reports, ensuring that every penny went where it was supposed to. But now, there it was, laid out before her like a dark secret. Tyler had been siphoning off funds from her organization. He was behind this. She could feel it in her bones. She had been so focused on his manipulative tactics and his control over her that she hadn't noticed the more insidious plot he'd been executing behind the scenes. He was using his power and influence to destroy everything she had built, not only through threats, but now through financial manipulation. Rhea's stomach twisted in disgust. He wasn't just trying to ruin her reputation. He was using his wealth and connections to profit from the very women she had worked to help. And he was doing it all in silence, hiding behind his polished image while wreaking havoc on her life. He was as dangerous as she feared, and more. Rhea slammed the file shut, her breath shallow. She needed to act, but how? Tyler had been so meticulous, so careful. This was a whole new level of betrayal, and the magnitude of it left her frozen for a moment, unsure where to go next. She sat back, running a hand through her hair, as a sense of helplessness threatened to engulf her. But then, a thought hit her like a spark of light in the darkness. This wasn't the time to back down. This was her moment to fight back. Rhea knew she had to expose Tyler for what he really was, no longer the man who had abused her, but a predator with a far-reaching grip. He had no remorse, no care for the people he hurt. His desire for control was insatiable, but she wasn't going to let him win. Her fingers hovered over her phone as she prepared to call her closest allies. The financial loss could be catastrophic if left unchecked. Tyler had underestimated her, but she wouldn't make the same mistake. He thought he could break her, but he had no idea who he was up against. Rhea had come too far to let him drag her back into the chaos of her past. Her resolve hardened. She would expose his schemes, every last one of them. This time, she would fight for herself, for the women she helped, and for everything Tyler had tried to take from her. The next few days were a whirlwind as Rhea set the trap she knew would finally put an end to Tyler's games. She wasn't just going to expose him to the public, she was going to catch him red-handed, making sure his manipulation and financial schemes couldn't be swept under the rug. Rhea gathered her closest allies from within the organization, trusted people who had been with her since the beginning. They had always known the importance of keeping everything above board, ensuring transparency in every donation and every program. She called them in one by one, her voice low and steady as she briefed them on what had been happening. They listened intently, their faces grim as she laid out the details. "We need to make Tyler think he's in control," Rhea said, her mind racing with the plan she had crafted. "We're going to let him believe we're accepting his donations, that we've given in, but we're going to be watching his every move." One of her allies, Maria, frowned. "You really think he'll take the bait? He's been so careful. He's not the same man he was back then." "I know," Rhea replied, her tone firm. "But that's why we have to be smart. Tyler thinks he can manipulate everything from the shadows. He's not expecting us to be a step ahead. Rhea's plan was simple but dangerous. Make Tyler believe he was donating to the charity and allow him to feel as if he was in control of the situation. But behind the scenes, Rhea would have her team set up a sting operation. They would track every penny, watch every transaction, and gather the evidence they needed to take him down. He thought he could destroy her, but this time, Rhea was the one who would expose him. The sting operation was set into motion. Tyler had been overly confident in his interactions with Rhea's team, believing that they were too intimidated to question him. But Rhea knew that this was exactly the type of arrogance she could exploit. She had studied him enough to know his every move, his every weakness, and this time there would be no escape for him. As Rhea sat in her office making the final preparations, the weight of the situation started to sink in. She had been so focused on protecting the women she served that she had never fully considered how deep Tyler's influence ran. His grip on the organization was tighter than she had thought, but now it was time to turn the tables. She picked up the phone, dialing her ally once more. "We're ready. Make sure everything is in place," she said, her voice unwavering. "This ends now." Tyler was on the other side of the line, but he didn't know it yet. Rhea was ready to make sure his empire of lies and manipulation would crumble, and he would no longer be able to hurt anyone, not her, and not the women who had placed their trust in her. The day Rhea had been waiting for arrived. Everything had been set into motion. The trap was in place, and there was no turning back now. Tyler thought he had outsmarted her, but Rhea was about to deliver the knockout punch. It started with a carefully timed meeting. Rhea had arranged for Tyler to make his final donation under the guise of reconciliation. He believed he was about to secure his position in her organization, restoring the power he had lost when she walked away from him years ago. But the truth was, Tyler was walking into his own trap. Rhea watched from her office window, her heart racing. She had positioned her team around the building, keeping a watchful eye on every movement, making sure everything was going according to plan. Tyler walked into the conference room with his usual arrogant swagger, unaware of the fate that awaited him. Rhea stood across from the window, her arms crossed, fighting to control the rush of emotions that coursed through her. She'd come so far, so many sleepless nights, so many painful memories, and yet here she was, ready to finally end Tyler's reign of terror once and for all. Inside the conference room, Tyler handed over an envelope filled with funds, pretending to make a generous donation. Rhea's team took the envelope, but kept their eyes on Tyler, carefully documenting the entire exchange. She watched as Tyler's smile widened, thinking he had won. Then the door to the room opened, and the authorities, armed with a warrant, flooded in. Tyler froze, his smug expression immediately morphing into confusion. "Tyler Moore, you're under arrest for embezzlement, manipulation, and fraudulent activities," one of the officers said, cuffing his wrists with swift precision. The world seemed to stand still. For a brief moment, Rhea thought her heart would stop. She had known this day would come, but now that it was finally happening, the weight of it all felt almost unreal. Tyler's eyes darted around the room, and his voice trembled for the first time Rhea had ever heard. "What is this? This is all a misunderstanding." "Save it," Rhea interrupted, her voice unwavering as she stepped forward, her gaze locked onto his. "You thought you could control me, Tyler, but you underestimated me. You're finished. Your lies, your schemes, they end here." Rhea's breath caught in her throat as she realized the depth of the victory she'd just won. The man who had caused her so much pain, so much trauma, was finally being held accountable for everything he'd done. He wouldn't hurt anyone else, not anymore. As the officers led Tyler away, Rhea felt a strange sense of calm wash over her. The battle was over. The victory was sweet, but it wasn't without its scars. She had faced her fears, fought for justice, and won. But it was only the beginning of a new chapter for Rhea. She had taken the first step toward freeing herself completely, both from Tyler and the lingering shadow he had cast over her life. After Tyler's arrest, Rhea returned to her office, the familiar hum of activity welcoming her back. It felt surreal, almost as if the weight of years of fear had been lifted in one swift moment. Yet, she knew it wasn't truly over. She had won this battle, but the scars of the past would never completely fade. They had shaped her, tested her, and ultimately made her stronger. Rhea walked into her office and sat at her desk, taking a moment to collect herself. She had fought for so long, fought for herself, for the women she helped, and for the chance to finally move on. But now that Tyler was out of the picture, she had a new challenge to face: rebuilding. The phone on her desk buzzed, pulling her out of her thoughts. It was Carla. "Rhea, you've got a visitor," Carla said. "Mia is here to see you." Rhea's heart skipped a beat. Mia had been one of the first women she'd helped through her organization. They had shared countless late-night conversations, and Rhea had watched Mia grow from a frightened victim into a confident, empowered woman. But it had been weeks since Rhea had last seen her. "Send her in," Rhea replied, straightening up in her chair. A moment later, Mia walked into the office. Her smile was warm, but Rhea could see the exhaustion in her eyes. The past few weeks had been tough on both of them, but especially Mia. Rhea had been focused on taking down Tyler, but Mia had been struggling to adjust to a new life, one where she wasn't just surviving, but living. "Rhea," Mia said softly, her voice filled with gratitude. "I heard about what happened with Tyler. I wanted to say thank you. You did it. You really did it." Rhea's heart swelled with pride, but a part of her still felt the weight of everything that had happened. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mia. You've been one of the strongest women I've known." Mia shook her head. "No, Rhea. You've been the one to lead us all. You gave us hope when we had none. I never thought I'd see the day when Tyler would get what he deserved. But now—" She paused, her voice faltering. "Now I feel like I can breathe again, like the weight of everything is finally gone." Rhea smiled, but she knew that healing wasn't as simple as just one victory. They still had so much work to do. The women they helped were still out there, still fighting their own battles, but at least now, with Tyler out of the picture, they had a real chance. The days following Tyler's arrest were filled with a quiet sense of relief, but also a lingering sadness. The battle had been long, and while Tyler's defeat was a victory, it didn't erase the years of fear, pain, and abuse. But that was the thing about pain. It could break you, or it could rebuild you into something stronger. For Rhea, it had rebuilt her, and now, with Tyler gone, she was finally free. Free from the past, free from the man who had haunted her every step. But most importantly, she was free to fully focus on her mission, to continue helping women who had been through the same hell she had. Standing outside the office, Rhea watched the sun dip below the horizon. The city around her buzzed with life, but she felt a stillness in her heart. It was the calm after the storm. The weight that had once felt suffocating now felt manageable. She had come out on top, and nothing would ever tear her down again. As the sun set, Rhea made a promise to herself to continue this work, to help as many women as she could, and to never again allow anyone to control her life. This was her rebirth, the beginning of a new chapter. Wow, what a ride! If you enjoyed this twist-filled journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stories by Lane for more unforgettable drama and surprises. And before you go, tell us, What would you have done in this situation? Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks for watching, and remember, twists you will not see coming await in every chapter.